Good evening, students of Los Angeles Film School, specifically my lighting 1 and 2 students, and also my cinematography 2 students. It's a little quiet on the LMS this evening. Not a lot of folks on the LMS doing their work. The go-to training was a technical no-show, some more problems with Citrix, but I thought that I would record a quick session with you guys just using my QuickTime player and touch base with you. I like to give you a little FaceTime now and again, just to so you understand that there's somebody on the other end of the computer that is thinking about your performance and watching you and the work you're doing on the assignments and monitoring your progress. And that I'm available to you in case you folks ever have questions or you need to discuss anything in the coursework, or if you need advice on creative projects or whatever, that we're here for you. This evening, I just wanted to chat something in my own life recently that was interesting, sometimes gives me pause for thought, and I think, there's a lesson in there if I really think hard enough about what's going on here. And it had to do with some work I had done to my house recently. I have a modest 2-bedroom, 2-bath home in Orlando. No big deal. Nice, comfortable. And I needed to have some repairs done to my flooring. And turns out I have a wood frame house, and so it's fairly easy to get in there and do what you have to do to a wood frame house without too much difficulty. But nevertheless, because of my schedule and because of my age and because of my various health concerns, I elected to have a contractor do the work for me. And it was an interesting experience because we are, all of us, in one form or another, technicians, and we're learning a craft. And the craft, as artful as it may sometimes feel, can feel equally industrial at times, and very much in a manufacturing vein and less in a collaborative creative vein, depending on the type of work that we're actually doing. And there's a broad spectrum of things that we do to produce motion pictures. It's not all, the glamorous behind the camera hijinks that you see on the bonus material portions of many motion pictures on Blu-ray and DVD. Sometimes we're just putting sets together, we're just building sets, or we're just running cable, or we're just putting out hundreds of lights to accommodate the photography. But whatever it is, we're all in one form or another, and in one echelon or another, we are all tradespeople. And so you are going to be, in the course of your career, you're going to be in company with some pretty amazing technicians. You're going to be in the company of rookies, new folks that don't have very much field experience at all. You're going to be in the company of the salty old war horses that seem to know every trick in the book, but don't seem interested in much of anything that's going on. And you'll be with truly inspired people that seem to have no end of their creative ideas and suggestions. It takes a village to make a movie. So there's all kinds of folks that are going to be on these crews that you're going to be working with. Some of them will be people that you hire. Some of them will be people who hire you. And so you're going to come into contact with all different kinds of folks. And the interesting thing to always bear in mind is that as technicians, we're not all born equal. Uh, some of us have come up through hard knocks and learned everything by having skills and trades passed down to us from our mentors and our elders. Some of us have gone to film school. Some of us have done both. Some of us have done neither. And we're finding ourselves in the same places and positions as other folks who have backgrounds and experiences and so forth. And so my observation is it's always neat to see how other technicians work and see how they've arrived at solutions for problems, how they use their tools, how they plan a job, how they expedite the tasks at hand, or how they delegate to a crew, how they do their purchasing, how they do their billing, whatever it is, and see that there's no one particular way, I don't think, to do anything in the film business. There's always going to be some derivative method of doing just about everything there is to do, and there's very few things I think that have one source solutions. So what's my point? Well, my point is be aware in situations like that. Be aware when you have the benefit of working with or working around someone who has a different point of view on how to handle um, a job or a situation, and take note of how they handle the problem. And I'm not suggesting that that you're looking out for people who are substandard or that aren't doing a good job. I mean, that's going to happen as well. But I'm saying when you come into contact with other technicians, with other creative people who have they truly have their point of view of what's in front of them, what's being asked of them, and how they're going to handle the solution. And it's good to be around that. It's good to see variations on themes of participation, collaboration, and solution, so that you're not always stuck in um, the same methods of solving problems. So that you have a few different ways of approaching a problem, and that you learn to look at a problem from all sides, and maybe have a couple of different solutions that work depending on what way you're looking at or approaching that particular problem. Um, and understand that we don't all come from film school backgrounds, or we don't all come from straight up hard knocks, coming up hard through the ranks of the motion picture industry experience, and um, we're not all without skills. And so you can almost from anyone learn new things if you're really looking hard enough. And and my experience was it was actually it was nice to meet um, another craftsman who had skills that he'd been using for years, and he owns his own company and he runs his crew, and they come to the job and they exercise all of the good traits and showmanship that we all presumably show. They come to work early. They come to work in appropriate clothing. They come to work with all of the necessary tools. They don't take excessive breaks. They ask questions, and they constantly check with their supervisors or with their client to make sure that those individuals are happy with the results as they unfold. And they treat the job with respect, no matter how large or how small, and no matter whether they're making a killing on a particular job or just a few bucks for something small. And they maintain good relationships with their clients, so that client will think of them and ask for them again in the future if they have another issue that falls under the qualifications of these individuals. So don't feel like or don't get locked into any particular method of doing something. There's always going to be another way, as they say, to skin the cat. Okay, and now obviously, if you work uh, regularly with the same individuals who have similar ways of doing things, and they've taught you their way. And so when you work with them, you do their way. That's fine. Then allow yourself the benefit of working with other crews. Hire yourself out to other key grips, other gaffers, other cinematographers, and see if you can't get a little bit of their rub. Find out how they stage their camera equipment, or find out, what lens does this guy like to shoot a close up on? What dolly does this guy prefer? What kind of lighting are they using on this particular movie? Even though it seems like it's the same kind of thing you've seen before, the lights are all different. What's up with that? And try to broaden your awareness and broaden your horizons by acknowledging these other creatives, learning to accept that your way is not the only way, and be open to some of the options that are out there that maybe you haven't been exposed to yet, and allow all of this to sort of sink in, and don't fight it. When you're first coming up, it's all new and it's all great, and so bring it on, right? It's all good. There's going to come a point in time where you're going to be in danger, and that danger will come, and not with everybody. Some people are fairly well grounded and they're aware of these sort of natural pitfalls and they avoid them, but some of you will fall into the trap of feeling like you've seen it or done it all, and that your way is the only way, and that folks who don't subscribe to your method or set of solutions may not be a qualified or bona fide creative. Okay? There'll be times when you know that to be true, and it will be the prevailing opinion, and nothing more need be said about that. But there'll be other times when it'll just sort of be something that's tugging at you, maybe your pride, or if you're in my youth, I used to find that it was when I worked with other folks and guys that I'd worked with a long time and respected had ways in doing things, and then I'd work with other folks who didn't do it that way or didn't understand that way or didn't subscribe to that way, and then I would start gauging in my head, well, which one of these guys might be better at what they do, and who do I need to listen to and who do I don't need to listen to. And that's kind of the trap, so avoid that, and just, hey, take the benefit of seeing another way of doing something and add that to your repertoire. It may not be your A choice. It may not be the first solution you pick when it comes to mending fences, or fixing the set lighting or moving the camera or whatever it is that you're doing. But keep it in your back pocket. You never know when you can use an alternate way of doing something. Your solution is the best solution, but the supplies you need aren't available on the island in the Bahamas you're working on at that particular time. So plan B, which involves a simpler solution with more inferior tools and supplies, might not be your first choice, but you can get it done with what you've got available and around you. Okay, that's what I mean by keep it in your back pocket. You never know when an alternate way of doing something might come in handy. And appreciate and welcome these experiences with these other technicians and these creatives. And if you get into large markets like Los Angeles or New York, Atlanta, Austin, Miami, places like this, if you work regularly and you work on different crews all the time, you'll automatically get the benefit of seeing diversity. But if you don't have the benefit of diversity, learn to recognize it and cherish it when you do have it, especially if you're in some of these outlying markets where there's not a lot of folks who do what you do. Sometimes different points of view are harder to come by, and when you do, they're rare and should be recognized. And that's it, I think. Seek out other creatives and other craftspeople. Learn their way, share your way. We're all in this together, and excuse me. Learn to share and learn to appreciate one another's points of view on these broad topics of filmmaking, camera work, grip work, and lighting, and don't be afraid of alternate solutions. Don't be afraid of alternate points of view. We're all at the end working in this together, and that is actually the essence of the collaboration definition, isn't it? Folks coming together, working together to accomplish a common task. Um, of course, the alternate definition to collaboration, according to Webster's Online Dictionary, is that collaboration is also the cooperation um, and cohesion with your enemies, which I thought was very ironic. Let me see if I can find the exact wording here. Um, it was, let's see. I thought that was very interesting because in a way, oops, my warming gel came off. In a way, I thought how interesting. In the film industry where there's so much competition and there are so many people competing for so few of the specialized jobs that there may be a definition to situation or two out there. Collaboration, according to the online dictionary, the action of working with someone to produce or create something. Collaboration with so-and-so. That's definition one. Definition two, the traitorous cooperation with an enemy. Let's hope that your film experience isn't along those lines. And even if it is, even if it's a situation where you're working with um, your most prolific competition, um, the point is you're both good technicians, or you wouldn't both be there at the same time. So even your enemies, so to speak, the people that you are competing with heavily for jobs, we can learn from them too, and and it can all be a good thing. So anyway, that was just my thoughts on a lazy afternoon while I watched someone else work on my floors. So I hope that's helpful to some of you, to any of you that are out there working, maybe local theater or local pipe and drape or stagehand work where you're working with other guys, gals, other crews, seeing different ways of doing things. There's more than one way to turn a wrench, folks. As long as we go righty-tighty and lefty-loosey and the park cans don't fall off the pipe, we're ahead of the game. So that's it. I hope you're enjoying the lesson plan so far. I hope you're having a good week. Look forward to seeing and talking with you very soon. And that's it. So have a good evening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.